नमस्कार. अंतरिक्ष अप एंड अवे येवकार. आज एक हिस्टॉरिक डे आसा. आज आमच्या प्रोग्रामाचो 25वा एपिसोड, सिल्वर जुबली. अंतराळात वयर वयर पावल दवरता दवरता आमी आज पावले चंद्रार. आयचो स्पेशल एपिसोड आसा एक श्रद्धांजली नील आर्मस्ट्रॉंग ताजे बद्दल हो एक ल्हानसो प्रोग्राम आज आसा. आनी आमी हांगा तो 1969चो जो एटमॉस्फियर आशिल्लो तो परत आमच्या दोळ्या फुडें हाडपाक हांगा सेंट्रल लायब्ररीन पणजे आयिल्ले आसात. आमी आसात सेंट्रल लायब्ररीच्या रेअर बुक सेक्शनान आनी म्हजे फुडें सामकी एक्सायटमेंट म्हणटा तशी स्प्रेड जाल्ली आसा. 1969च्या सालांतले 21 जुलय म्हणजे 20 जुलयाक तांणी मून लँडींग केलें आनी 21 जुलयाक ती सगळी बातमी आयिल्ली. ती आमच्या गोंयचे पेपर फाटी नाशिल्ले. सगळ्या पेपरांनी हेडलायन्स आनी थोड्यान फोटोग्राफ सुद्दां आर्कायवल फोटोग्राफ्स सगळे हांगा प्रिंट जाल्ले आसात. आनी हाचेच बद्दल म्हणजे गोंयान मून लँडींग जातकच ताचो इम्पॅक्ट कितें जालो आनी गोंयकारांनी तो कसो रिसीव केलो हें आमचे कडेन भासाभास करपाक हांगा दोन म्हजे बरोबर स्पेशल अशे पर्सनॅलिटीज आसात. पयली म्हणजे मारिया लुट्स ब्राव कॉस्ट रॉड्रिगेज. त्यो गोवा स्टेट सेंट्रल लायब्ररीच्यो एसिस्टंट स्टेट लायब्ररीयन आसात. कितलेशे बुक्स तांणी बरयल्या, आर्टिकल्स गोंयचेर तांचे कंटिन्युअसली पेपरान येत आसात. हेरिटेज, हिस्ट्री ह्यो सगळ्यो तांच्यो आवडीचे विशय आसात. दुसऱ्या सुवातेर म्हजे बरोबर आसा सुजाता कैसरे. सुजाता नॅशनल इन्स्टिट्यूट ऑफ ओशनोग्राफी जे दोनोपावल आसा थंय सिनियर सायंटिस्ट आशिल्ल्यो आनी केमिस्ट्री डिपार्टमेंटान तांचे खूब प्रयोग रिगार्डींग ओशन्स हे विशयाचेर स्टडीज आनी प्रोजेक्ट्स केल्ले आसात. मरीन क्रुसीस सुद्दां कितलेशे समुद्रांनी वचून स्टडी बी तांणी केल्ली आसा. तर तुमकां दोगांयकूय आमच्या प्रोग्रामान येवकार. 1969 आमी आतां म्हाका दिसता गेल्यार बरी फाटल्यान, कित्याक तो दीस हे सगळे पेपर पळयले आनी म्हाका एक्सायटमेंट म्हजो थांबूंक जायना की आमी डायरेक्टली लेट्स गो टू द टॉपीक. Madam, I had come here to ask you specially, and you obliged me by bringing out all the newspapers. खंयच्यान सगळे तुवें हांगा एक्युमुलेट करून हाडले. 1969 21 जुलय.
करेक्ट.
म्हणजे कितें जाल्लें 20th जुलयाक मून लँडींग जाल्ली. सी आय थिंक हाज्या पेक्षा व्हडलें आमच्या संवसारांत तर इतलो व्हडलो इव्हेंट जावं ना जेन्ना मनीस पृथ्वी सोडून गेलो आनी चंद्रार पावल दवरून सुरक्षीत परत आयलो. सो इट वॉज अ व्हेरी ग्रेट इव्हेंट. सो हो इव्हेंट जेन्ना जालो 1969 43 वर्सां जालीं. सो तुमी तेन्ना शिकताली आसतली. यू आर इन एज्युकेशन चालू आशिल्लें तुमचें.
I was in the higher secondary, 11th standard.
Okay.
The government higher secondary as a student when the event took place. When the, Neil Armstrong and Aldrin landed on the moon. So it was an event that took us all to great heights, because it was an event that humankind made a big leap. Yeah, and after so many years of experiment undergone by not only USA, which in the end was successful, but even Russia had many attempts which unfortunately for them did not materialize. Didn't materialize. So it was the Apollo 11 crew which was successful in landing on the moon. So most of the papers, all the papers carried as the main news headlines on the first page, and some of them even made an attempt to put a photograph. Like Herald had a photo of the practice that astronauts had. Obviously, we were not that advanced to have immediately here at that point of time. So they brought a photograph of the astronaut practicing and the landing here on Earth. Yeah. And in fact, it's very interesting that for us Indians, there was another very important event for India as far as the economy of the country and politics was considered.
At the same time
was the decision of Srimati Indira Gandhi to nationalize 14 banks.
So nationalization.
Yes, national. If it wasn't for the landing of the moon, it would have really been blown up on as a headline. So it took just a small space on the main page. Of the paper, and after that landing, for a number of days, the news was continued with different aspects of the happenings on the moon. And there was one quote I would read in Portuguese, because I have here the Herald. But the news says that they had taken a plaque to put on the moon, and on the plaque it is written, Aqui, homens do planeta Terra puseram pela primeira vez o pé sobre a Lua. Viemos com intenções pacíficas em nome de toda a humanidade. So what it means that this is where for the first time the man has put his foot on the moon, and we have come in peace, and we are representing the humankind. Yeah, humankind.
So it was not that America landed on the moon; it was humankind who landed.
Exactly. It was not right, and which is good for all of us. They didn't take alone the credit if after some years somebody goes there. So it was the humankind that is represented there, and the plaque was in fact signed by Armstrong and Aldrin, and also by Richard Nixon, who was the president of the United States at the time. Yeah, at the time.
Madam, you told us about that day and what impact it had, the papers and all that. So this event had come much before the previous papers. I mean, it was not a new thing that suddenly there is a headlines.
No.
They used to tell you that the moon landing is going to happen now.
Right.
So what was your personally leaving the papers aside? What did you feel? Did you think that they would be successful? That man would land on the moon? What do you think? What had you thought at that time as a student?
Yes, as a student, I think we all hoped that it would be successful.
It would land, because going to the moon is something not easy.
Not easy. In fact, we all prayed that it would be successful because the other experiments were not successful. And after that success, in fact, many started joking. So when are you going to the moon?
There was an atmosphere around.
And all that. So there's a joke that was cracked. I will not name the person, but there was two neighbors. So one of the neighbor comes and says, when are you going to the moon? I have already booked my ticket to go to the moon. He said, everybody is going to the moon. So I'm thinking of going to the sun.
Sun?
Yeah. So he says, to the sun? But you get burned. If you go to... No, I'll go at night.
At night.
Yeah. So so people were also joking. People were also into it. That shows even the common man was involved. It's not only the scientists or the intellectuals who were involved. Even the common man was involved into this moon landing. Yeah. And there is another interesting thing that I noted was that when Neil Armstrong's wife was asked if this was her a memorable day for her, this event, and she says no, it wasn't the greatest day for me. So but then which one? She said on the day I got married was the most memorable day. So but she was happy then. But I'm happy it was successful and that he has come back.
Right.
Yeah.
So for her, no, I think Sujata, Neil Armstrong Chandrar वचप हो important नाशिल्लें. ताणे परत येवप important नाशिल्लें ताच्या बायलेक.
सुगूर परत येवप हें तिका important नाशिल्लें.
Madam, coming back to you, one question which I always wanted to ask. Unfortunately, in 1969 July, I was not born. So at that time in Goa, how was the event received? What was the public outcome? I mean, were there any programs going on?
There were quite a few programs organized by different institutions, not only soon after the landing, but even later on the completion of 1 year. Because I remember having participated in one of the programs organized by Goa Culture and Social Center, which is still active till today. And the program was organized at Club National, and it was well attended with a house full audience. And I can remember I spoke on the geological aspect of the moon, and I remember another name was Faust Cardozo. I think that he was a student of chemistry and he spoke about the chemistry.
He was a Dempe College student.
He was a Dempe College student, yeah. And unfortunately, I don't remember the other two. And there were some leaflets which were was like an invitation and with a program, who would be the speakers and all distributed. I do have one, but unfortunately I couldn't now lay my hand on it.
It will be a rare item now.
Yes, it would be a rare item
now. So, Madam, all in all, I think we Goans were not left behind in the moon landing.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It was very much part of our life also.
Correct.
It was not just America or anything like that.
No. I mean that the whole, all the people, and including Goa, would always say that they're intellectually emancipated, much before others. If you
गोंयांत तसो
consider,
अवेरनेस तेन्ना सुद्दां आसतालो
आसलो.
आणि
म्हणजे
एज्युकेशनाक गोंयांत खूप व्हॅल्यू आशिल्लो
आशिल्लो.
स्ट्रेस आशिल्लो सो अशे सायन्साचे इव्हेंट जावप म्हणजे इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ
आणि
सायन्स
अपोलो 11 हे नाव तर सगळ्यांच्या कॉमन मनशाच्या सुद्दां तोंडान आसलें अपोलो 11
Apollo 11.
is madam when you are talking about the paper of 21st July so
Correct.
I would like to ask you whether the papers in Goa they continued the news I mean, there were many more moon landings and a lot of things happened later on also
Yeah, the news were, see, after the 21st, after informing about the landing and all that, after a week and all that, the papers started talking about the future,
12.
Yeah, next voyage of Apollo 12, how the things, how they are preparing, and they went on. They never stopped, and all the voyages were always covered. Always covered. And of course, another important one was the Apollo 13, which was
which failed.
Yeah,
Failed
mishap. In fact, and that was also blown
much
up.
publicized.
Much publicized, yeah.
Okay.
Because it had to. It had to. It was a failure. Because again, number 13 for many
people
is unlucky. So the people had already envisaged that it will not be successful.
And then it actually
It
failed.
actually happened, yeah.
So it supported the beliefs.
Correct. The belief was supported by the happening. Yeah.
बरें सुजाता आतां हांव तुमचे कडेन येता तर म्हाका सांगात की गोंयांत तेन्ना की हो इव्हेंट जो 1969 जालो तुका हाज्या बद्दल कितें म्हणणें आसा तुमी स्वता विज्ञानाच्या मळार आसात यू आर अ सायंटिस्ट सो सायन्साच्या फिल्डान आसून आमी आतां मॅडमीचो इंटरव्यू घेतलो मॅडम लिटररी फिल्डान आसा सो ऑन द पॉयंट ऑफ लिटरेचर मिडियान कशें जालें तें आमी डिस्कस केलें ऑन द पॉयंट ऑफ सायन्स तुमी कितें म्हणूंक शकतात अबाउट 1969
1969 1969 म्हणजे 1969 हांव आशिल्लें इंटर सायन्स निकतें शिकलां
कॉलेज
आनी कॉलेजान
हायर सेकंडरी
हय तेन्ना हायर सेकंडरी म्हणजे तेन्ना आमी इंटर सायन्स म्हणटाले फर्स्ट इयर सायन्स आनी मागीर इंटर सायन्स सो इंटर सायन्स निकतेंच जालां आनी एज ए स्टुडंट सगळ्यांक एक्सायटमेंट आसताच चंद्रार मनीस गेलो आनी कितें जालें अशें म्हणून पण तेन्ना काळ इतलो फाटीं आशिल्लो आज तुमकां इमॅजीन सुद्दां करूंक जावचें ना इतलो काळ फाटीं आशिल्लो फाटीं म्हणजे हांगा टॅलिविजन पयलो म्हणजे नाशिल्लो तें चंद्रार वयलें लँडींग पळोवपाक आज जाल्यार ताजें खरेंच प्रत्यक्ष आमकां सगळें चित्र दोळ्या समोर दिसपाचें
थिएटरान ते न्यूज रील म्हणून दाखयताले
हय तेन्ना तशें चित्र दिसूंक ना हें आनी कलर्ड फोटोग्राफ सुद्दां नाशिल्ले त्या तेंपार म्हणटकीर ब्लॅक एंड व्हायट पिक्चर्स न्यूज पेपरांनी येता ते पूण तरी आसतना अपोलो 11 हें नांव सगळ्या भुरग्यांच्या सुद्दां तोंडान आसलें आनी ताजो फॉल आवट म्हणजे कितें त्या दिसांनी जे कोण भुरगे बी जाल्यार तांकां नील ही नांवां धांतलो एक तरी नील आसतालो आनी म्हाका आतांच याद जाली की तूं 1969 जावंकूच ना तूं मागीर जाल आनी तुका कशें नील नांव आयलें ना अशें म्हाका दिसलें आनी ताज्या बरोबरच म्हज्या मनांत आयलें की तूं तो जावंक ना नील जावंक ना म्हणून तूं एस्ट्रॉनॉमीन गेला आनी ती उणीव भरून काडपाक आनी ताज्या बद्दल उलोवपाक म्हणून ही एक योग तुजो जाला अशें म्हाका दिसता
म्हाका सांगपाक कितें म्हाजो नातू नील नांव तेका नील आहा नातू
and all these things हे सगळे आमचे जे इंटरेस्टिंग एनेक्डोट्स आसा आनी सगळे मून लँडिंगाच्यो खबरो आसा ह्यो चालूच उरतल्यो आतां एक ल्हानसो ब्रेक घेवया परतून एकदा येवकार तुमी पळयतात अंतरिक्ष अप एंड अवे आज आमचो सिल्वर जुबली एपिसोड 25वो आमचो एपिसोड चालू आसा आनी मनीस 1969 जे दीस चंद्राचेर पावल दवरून परत आयलो त्यो सगळ्यो घटना त्या दिसाच्यो 20 जुलय 1969 आमी हांगा प्रत्यक्ष रिकलेक्ट करतात आनी तो दीस परत पळोवपाचे प्रयत्न करीत आसात म्हजे बरोबर आसा मारिया लुट्स ब्राव कॉस्ट रॉड्रिगेज आनी सुजाता कैसरे हांचे कडेन आमचो भासाभास मून लँडिंगाचेर चालू आसा